Some drones are fun, racing through abandoned buildings in first-person views, while others are for filming magnificent sights from heights unseen. So, depending on what you want from a drone, what your use case is, your selection matters. Do you go with A, a known brand, or B, take a punt on the unknown, or throw it all out the window and go with C, buy a drone from Temu? Well, today we have the Potensic Atom drone for review. Not from Temu, though not a household name, but could it become one? Can the Atom bring some fun while also filling the professional boot at a reasonable price? You see, when a drone falls into the professional work side of the chart, the price starts to gain altitude and quickly. But let me tell you that while the Atom certainly flies like a dragonfly, the price gets left behind like a New Year's resolution on the 2nd of January. TechManPat here, make sure to like and subscribe. Big thanks to Potensic for sending the drone out for review. So let's jump into the review of the Potensic Atom 4K gimbal drone right after the intro. Let me start off by saying the Atom can be best compared to the DJI Mini 2 in performance, though not the 2 SE, which seems to be the more popular version in Australia being sold. So it comes with a few extras, but then also compromises. But more importantly, the Atom comes at a lower price. So if you're looking to buy a DJI, take a moment to watch this because you may end up changing your mind, or not. So let's get the important stuff out of the way. The Atom drone is under 250 grams, and this is really important because in Australia and many other countries, drone laws tag that weight as pretty much a toy, which it kind of is in a roundabout way, but you can also fly up to 45 meters high within 5.5 kilometers of an airport. But you need to stay out of the airport boundary to not create any hazards for other aircraft. Lastly, if you fly your drone for work, extra rules do apply. You must register your drone to get a license or accreditation, and if you only fly for fun, there's no registration or accreditation needed. So today, let's go with we're flying all for fun. Now then, the Atom packs away nicely into this camera-like carry bag. It's really nice. And this is the Fly More kit, as you can see, with a few extras inside. So we have the drone that is right here. We have a memory card already attached, a controller with a mount for your phone. Yes, your phone becomes the screen, and also some of the smarts and controls. And there is a 3-port charging bay for 3 batteries, which is amazing. Each battery gets you around 32 minutes of flight time. There's some cables in there to make sure you can connect to an iPhone or an Android, USB-C, or the lightning port. And more importantly, it has a stack lot of spare blades, which are absolutely needed. Now, the drone has a max resolution of 4K 30 frames on the gimbal camera right here. The 60 frame mode is stuck at 1080p, but then with 12 megapixels for photos, a true 3-axis gimbal, it provides extremely stable shots no matter the wind or what the drone or you're doing. So we'll get into the video quality in a moment. So we have accurate GPS built in with the ability to land back in the spot it took off, which is amazing, with only a slight divergence from the expected spot. By slight, I really mean within a meter of where it took off. I was really impressed how quickly the drone connected to multiple satellites in the area, and off we were flying. On the bottom of the drone, we have optical flow and landing sensors, meaning if you wanted to grab the drone out of the air by the bottom, it would fly away from you. Flight performance is great. The ascension speed is about 5 meters per second and the descent speed is 4 meters a second, while flight speed is 16 meters a second, which is pretty nice. Now, there are 3 modes of flying, but for some reason the app keeps switching them for me based on how well I'm flying. Now, to the exciting parts. It has a 6-kilometer range, or 4 miles, for the 9% of the world that use it. To be fair, the range here is slightly lower than the DJI Mini 2, which hits 10 kilometers. But then we have the wind resistance at level 5, which on the Beaufort scale is around 38 kilometers per hour winds. And according to the Siemens lingo, this is a fresh breeze that it can withstand. But I did not encounter winds to that level, but most of the time I can imagine that depending on the height, that's when the wind stability comes into question. But at my testing at 120 meters, which is the limit for Western Australian flying, it was extremely stable. But what else is there beyond stability? Well, a killer feature that would be a valid reason to buy the Atom is active tracking, which means you can tap at any item on the screen, object or person, and the Atom will follow that item, and it works really, really well. On top of that, the Atom can be flown via waypoints, which is a really nice way to repeat a take or get a really cool action shot that you might have to redo a few times to just get it right. So let's talk about actually using it and potentially the video quality, setting it up, and the app. Lastly, we'll talk about the price. Now, setup is fairly straightforward, though maybe a bit tedious, but let me outline a few things. You start off by installing the app, then charge the batteries or vice versa in the provided quick charge dock, which I think will surprise you how quickly it charges. Grab the controller, unpack it, find the right cable for your phone, stretch it out and mount it. Make sure the cable end fits in the gap for the solid fit. Then grab your controller and screw in the sticks, which is kind of weird, but a lot of controllers for flying equipment have this. Now, obviously, then you have to unpack the drone, tap the button once, and then again holding it to turn on. Same with the controller, and with all going well, you should be able to pair the device to your phone, to the drone, and you should be able to enjoy. Do note, in the app, there is a beginner mode set by default that stops you from going full bore on your first flight. However, the app does have useful limitation settings that are best set by relevant laws in your country. For example, limiting max flight height to 120 meters in Western Australia. So flights. In my first liftoff, it was a bit shaky. I found the default controller layout like writing with the left hand, and I crashed quite a few times, damaging the blades, the drone body, but so far the drone has absolutely survived, and that's a testament to Potensic's build quality. I wanted more of a PlayStation 2 feel controller, so I chose the other settings, and it was good enough, though I was disappointed I could not customize it any further. Maybe a software patch could do that, but I don't really think so. The drone is extremely responsive, even at these large 6-kilometer distances. I only had a few slight delays between the video and controls and a lag spike here and there when the drone was very, very far away and in between trees, but they were quick, and 99% of my flight time was absolutely perfect, and I was impressed. Now, the ascent is extremely quick. I thought that's really cool. I really like how fast it pulls away. On that note, before we get into the film part of the drone, the controller has a trigger on the left for video recording and a trigger on the right for capturing a photo, which makes it very intuitive. Lastly, the controller has a scroll wheel which adjusts the vertical direction of your camera gimbal. Now, it's very smooth and enables you to achieve some really nice shots during flight times. All right, video quality. If you're going on a big holiday and want to capture the beauty of our blue planet, then this will not disappoint. If you're a filmmaker looking to get some B-roll footage at heights or follow an object of a person to create some epics, then the Atom is definitely worth a punt. At the lower price, it makes a lot of sense. The shooter has 12 megapixels, as mentioned before. Video can shoot at 50 megabits bit rate, 4K 30, 25, 24, then 2.7K at 30, 25, 24, while 1080p is 60, 50, 30, 25, and 24. Now, the video you're watching now are all in 4K 30. This should look quite nice since my video upload is at 4K 30, but do note that YouTube still adds a bit of compression in the videos these days. Now, the drone has quite a bit of manual control over the exposure and white balance and so on, so you can tune the video at the point of recording, but I found that the flattest footage comes out better when you put it through some LUTs and movie magic in Premiere. I think overall, you'll be very happy with the video quality, and at this price, it's a great deal. Now, I think this will generally be used by content creators. It's the quick and automated way to get a nice stylistic shot of your surroundings and then kind of download them to your mobile phone and post on Instagram. There isn't much I can fault in regards to the build quality. I will say though that the antennas on the controller are extremely weak and broke on the first flight when I accidentally swiped the controller past my leg at a weird angle. The plastic hinge is extremely weak. The most important thing the app actually lets you see is the flight time remaining, because you want to make sure to bring the drone back before it runs out. Now, it seems to be very accurate, but also on the conservative side. Now, tapping the small map on the side lets you see it in full, which is great. You can get to see the actual GPS map, and you can navigate your drone home if you can't see it visually. Of course, if you ask it to come home automatically, it will do the same thing and come back to where it landed. Now, another thing that I found a little bit frustrating is how it connects to the drone and to your mobile phone. It was really hit and miss. I had to exit the app and spin it back up a few times to get it connected. Once connected, I didn't actually experience any disconnections, but just getting that first connection was a bit of an issue. Now, the video delay is pretty much non-existent. It's hard to tell when you're just flying it around, but obviously if you measure it, as you can see, you can tell. But I had a few close encounters with obstacles, and my reflexes managed to save the drone, so the delay must be good enough. But make sure you have plenty of battery on your phone, because you will be outside on a sunny day and your brightness will be maxed out. So the drone is really good, but does the price match? Well, the Atom with the Fly More kit right here is 600 Australian dollar roos, which in my mind is a great price to performance ratio. And compared to the DJI Mini 2, where I found the price tag ranging from 750 Australian dollars to 1,500. Most of these were online, so it's a big variance. So does the $150 difference make for a compelling reason to lean towards the Atom? Well, I think it depends on your budget, of course, because if 150 is the difference between your next project being mind-blowing because you've got some drone footage or not, then the choice is easy. But let me know if an extra 4 kilometers of range is worth $150 to you. My main complaint is that control schema, and I worry how many updates we'll get over the next few years for Potensic. However, the concern is, will they be around to give said updates? I hope they don't just close shop, but you never know with unknown brands like these. So that $150 difference starts to get even smaller. With that in mind, I would like to add that no matter how good of a drone pilot you think you are, water is water and stranger things have happened. It may be slightly cheaper to replace an Atom if you ever lose or destroy the drone during epic adventures, because then you're only buying the drone, not the whole pack. Big thanks to Potensic for sending the drone for review. Links below to the website. There are no affiliate links, and I hope Potensic does become a household brand at some point in time. Finally, huge thanks to you for watching. Make sure to tap the like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this.